Hey guys, it's Cassie aka Cats and Camera, and today I've got a stupidly massive book haul because that's the kind of guy I am. Bearing in mind most of these are £2 or under because that is also the kind of guy I am. So it's not too bad. There are a lot. They weren't too expensive though, so it's okay. Also, you may have seen a bunch of these in my every LGBT plus book that I own video. I'll leave that above below. Check it out if you want some LGBT recs. So a lot of these books I don't know a massive amount about. Basically I have this wish list on Amazon that has a bunch of books from Harmony Ink Press, which is a publication that just publishes LGBT books. I have a big list of them. Normally they're like $13.99, but then every so often they go down to under £2 each, so I just snap them up when they're that. So yeah, that's what a bunch of these books are. First up I have My Most Excellent Year by Steve Kluger. This follows three people: a guy who might be falling for this girl, the girl that thinks she might be falling for him, and his best friend who thinks he might be gay. Next is You Don't Know Jack by MC Lee. This is about Jack, who is in this organisation, The Centre, and basically is kind of like undercover spying on / getting to know this other kid, but then he falls for him, so yeah, some sort of weird spy-ass novel. Next up I've got Supermassive by Nina Rosing. Nina Rosing wrote Fjord Blue, which I really enjoyed last month, I think it was, or the month before. So I definitely had to pick up this when I saw it for cheap. This one, again like that one, is set in Norway, which I love. Norway trash right here. And is about this guy whose mum dies and he kind of feels like it's his fault. Not necessarily his fault, but the same day he kisses this boy, his mum dies, so he's got some weird guilt going on. And it's about him and this other boy and whether they should get together and whether he can surpass this guilty feeling and enjoy his life. Next up I have The Red Sheep by Mia Kerrick. This is crazy, I've had this one on my wish list for literally years and years and years, and then I found out it was on Harmony Ink Press. So I put a different edition on that wish list, and then cheap. It went to cheap. This is about a bully who wakes up and suddenly he's nice and he's kind of having feelings for the boy that he was bullying, and everyone around him is kind of like, how could he all of a sudden be nice? So I guess it's him coming to terms with that and realising how much of a dick he was, and whether this other guy can see him as not a bully. Sounds like an interesting concept. Next up I have Elephant Shoe by J.S. Edge. I actually got an arc of this last month on my Kindle. I read it, I loved it, so when it came out on the 17th, I bought it, I grabbed it. Brand new, imagine that. $8.99 I spent on one book. But it's really good, and it's an indie published book, so I was like, yes, I will spend my money and give it to you because this is great. And I hope other people pick it up because I loved it. So obviously you'll get more of the synopsis of this when I do my wrap up. But basically it follows this kid who was in a car accident with his friend and his parents. His parents both died. He was shipped off to his grandparents, and now he's back in his old town and is wondering why his friend, who was also in the car accident, is really distant with everyone at school and is really weird and acting strange, and is trying to figure out why. And it's LGBT and disability rep, and you should read it because it's really good and it's self-published, so do it. Next I have Tales from Foster High by John Good. This is coming of age LGBT set in school. You know the kind, there's a jock, there's a not jock, will they get it on? Hopefully it's a good version of that. Next up I have Just Between Us by J.H. Trumbull. This is about these two characters who are kind of falling for each other, but one of them is HIV positive and is coming to terms with how he's meant to tell the other guy this. This is also a novel that was released quite recently, so it's going to be a sort of modern voice on the whole HIV thing, which I'm looking forward to reading because for a while there every LGBT book was like AIDS, HIV, and then recently you never hear about it, so it'll be nice to see how it's dealt with in a modern setting. Next up I have Dumb Jock by Jeff Erno. This is about the timid outcast tutoring the dumb jock, and then obviously feelings happen. Next up I have Us Three by Mia Kerrick. This is a bit different because it's about these three characters who are all put together in some sort of project at school, and then all three of them realise they're having feelings for each other. So I've never read a book about polygamy kind of in school, so we shall see how it's dealt with. Definitely not something you see every day. Next up I have The Book of Ethan by Russell J. Sanders. This is about a guy who was brought up in a really cult-like religion, and then he realises that it's a bit culty, leaves it, and then falls for a black kid and he's been brought up in this religion to perceive black people as being like evil and bad and wrong. So it's about him trying to deal with that issue and deal with his sexuality. Next I've got Going the Distance by John Good. This is also in the universe of the Tales from Foster High, but this is basketball, and you'll know what I'm like with sports in books. For some reason I love it, I don't know why. So yay, basketball. And obviously LGBT. Next up, don't worry, I'm finally moving away from all my cheap Harmony Ink buys. I finally picked up 1984 by George Orwell. I've been eyeing this book for ages, but even though it's an old book, I could never find it cheap. Even secondhand it was like £4 or £5, and I'm just like, no. This one was like £1.82, so snapped it up. Definitely looking forward to this. I really enjoyed Animal Farm. I never read any of these at school somehow, like everybody else did. So I'm looking forward to giving this a read. Next up I found Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen at a charity shop. For some reason they'd put it in the kids section, so it was only 49p, so I wasn't going to say anything about that. I was like, I'll pick that up for 49p. I've actually never seen the film, so I don't have any expectations of this, but I know that it's like real life her when she was in an asylum, so it sounds interesting. 49p, let's give it a go. And then maybe I'll watch the film afterwards, because I've heard a lot of good things about the film, so there you go. Next up, another one that I've been eyeing for years but never found cheap enough for myself to pick up, and that is Wonder by RJ Palacio. I feel like everybody's heard of this or read it. It's like a middle grade about this kid that has some sort of abnormality on his face, I think. I don't really know much about this because I didn't want to know too much about it because I wanted to read it. And that's the kind of person I am. I don't like knowing too much going into the book, but I knew I was really interested in reading it. Next up I have Lament by Maggie Stiefvater. This one was in a charity shop, and every time I went in there I kept eyeing it up and thinking, should I get this? Oh, I don't know, because fairies are not really my thing. Oh, but also I really like Maggie Stiefvater. So eventually I was like, you know what, I'm gonna grab it. Because, like I say, I really like Maggie Stiefvater. I want to have all of her books, and even though fairies aren't my thing, maybe it's gonna be good. I didn't think werewolves were gonna be my thing, but I enjoyed Shiver. So there you go. Lament. All I know about it is fairies and Maggie Stiefvater. And last but not least, in that same charity shop, I found Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I really enjoyed The Sun Is Also a Star. Earlier on this year, or last year I read it, I can't remember. So I found this in a charity shop for £1.49 and thought, why not grab it? Also, you know how much I hate this on History Is All You Left Me? This thing that's actually stuck to my book for some reason. That is what I want from my Zoella stickers. To be able to take them off the book. So yeah, the fact I don't have to look at Zoella's face is also a bonus. So there we go. There's my crazy ass book haul. It's a lot. I don't mind. So tell me down below what you bought in June, or if you've read any of these books, or if they sound like you want to read them, let me know. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy them, please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye. Too warm, yeah.